Start this. And change the title to, what do we, can't prefix it as Misthaven anymore. Like, I don't want to call it Deepfrost because it's such a prolific campaign setting. Um,
Called New Beginnings.
um, we'll call it Deepfrost. Why not? And then New Beginnings. How do you spell
Nice hat,
beginnings?
Tim.
It fits really well over the top of my headset.
Yeah, you look like a streamer.
Coffee. Don't you dare say that word
There you
around here. Alright, streaming Dungeons and Dragons. Confirm and go live. Alright.
Yeah.
We're good. We're golden. We're going.
Cool, cool,
Right.
cool. Before we dive in, guys, I want to put a little bit of a warning out there. Um, Looking over the module, looking over everything and through my plans, I don't expect this to be easy. Um, Characters may die,
Okay.
and I just want that to be out there. Um, that
No
doesn't
mercy.
mean that doesn't mean have 30 backup characters ready, um, but just just a heads up.
Okay.
Alright.
Maybe have one or two ready.
Just a heads up. Speaking of which, as we dive into the terrors beneath Deepfrost Citadel, I want to do a uh, potentially a quick vignette with everybody. Uh, Let you introduce your character in certain things. So let's start with Tim. I would like you to introduce your character, describe him, but I want you to keep in mind that when we find Cal, he is currently running for his life in a frozen night, being chased by a ravenous pack of wolves.
Okay.
Well, Kalendor Starweaver is an elegant astral elf, pale blue skin, glistening in the moonlight, a wicked grin across his mouth as he is excited for this once in a lifetime opportunity, a story that it'll make once he manages to get out alive. He stands about 6 foot tall. He has resplendent clothing on that you wouldn't expect to see outside of the court of some kingdom, matching his skin tones in whites and blues. He carries himself very elegantly, good posture as even though he's running for his life, his very sense of self seems to be so ingrained the way that he acts that even in desperation he doesn't lose it. And he is throwing insult after insult backward over his shoulder at these creatures that are following him, scrambling over root and climbing up trees to leap off of low branches to get further and further ahead, uh, taking every advantage of any terrain that can lead him further and further ahead of these creatures.
Okay. Who's next, Josh? Uh-oh.
Or is there more prompt after that?
Or I don't know. I think Josh is just his screen's loading for me.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a...
So he may have disconnected for a bit. Oh.
And he's
There
gone.
he goes.
Oh.
And he's back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Sorry about that. Apparently, everything decided to stop working.
Hmm.
Sorry. As you are trying to use this terrain, I need you to make an athletics or acrobatics check to see how far you get ahead.
Oh my.
Gladly. Well, not.
Yikes.
You attempt to jump over a thick pile of roots, and you find yourself one of your feet caught in it as you stumble and fall. You quickly get back up and run and continue to run. I need you to make another. This time it's going to be athletics check as you try to outrun whatever. You can hear the snarls and the snapping behind you. This athletics check is going to be made with disadvantage.
Oof.
Better.
11.
Hey, that's not
You
bad.
do manage to stay away from the snapping, and you can actually feel the breath of these wolves behind you. There's a couple of them. You're not sure how many. You can hear the howls in the distance, and then closer, and then closer. Uh, Up ahead, you see a slight light uh, through a thicket of trees. As you push towards it, uh, they're going to make an attack on you with disadvantage because of that success. That is um, 2 15s. What's your armor class?
15.
15. You take. Oh, that's double force. 10 points of damage as you can feel something rip into the back of your calf. But then the pain shoots up your leg, up your spine, up to your head. Um, as you burst through this thicket of trees. We're now going to switch over to Nyx. Nyx, you have found yourself a nice caravan to travel with. It's late at night. You finally, after many uncomfortable many uncomfortable minutes tossing and turning, you finally fall asleep. You dream of a castle on a mountain. You dream of a thriving town. You dream of those things that you wish to see. Before there is a sharp pain in your abdomen, and you are awakened roughly as something tumbles over you.
Ouch! What in the world was that? Who did that?
You shoot up, holding your side, and you see a bright skinned elf whose boot has just landed itself in your ribs. Um, Cal, you stumble into this camp. You stumble over something soft and fall face first, very close to a fire that's dying down. There is what looks like a small camp. Um, there's an individual gets up holding a crossbow, points it at you. Hey, who are you? Who are you? What do you want? That's to you, Cal. You're
Uh,
muted.
raise my hands up in the air and say, sorry, I just was in need of a little bit of a respite from a bit of a situation. As I look behind myself, are the wolves still behind me?
Make a perception check.
Great. Oop, this button, that button. I don't know.
You
Oh,
look behind you. You swear you see two pinpricks of light in the darkness before they wink out. You don't hear anything else. You don't hear any panting. You don't hear any howls. You hear the groaning of the individual you tripped over.
All right. Well,
The guard points.
uh,
Is continuing to point the crossbow at you. Hey,
is
Chief!
there a space that I could disappear into in the immediate vicinity, say within 30 feet?
With
If I were, say, half my size?
I, I'll say you
What an extremely specific
with
question.
this with this individual keeping their eye on you,
What if
and
that didn't matter?
it depends.
Is
You
there
can
like
certainly
a
try.
tent or something that I could disappear into, like a space I can be inside of?
You don't see a tent, but there is a like a horse-drawn wagon,
Great.
not covered.
I immediately shrink to half my size
Okay?
and then vanish.
The guard turns to wake up one of the other people in his caravan, and when he turns back, you're gone. He's like, wait, there was someone here. Nix, I need you to make a perception check.
Is that
all
a
right.
stealth for me as well?
It'll be a stealth for me, yeah.
Perception.
Yes. Finally.
Oof.
Dang
Ooh,
it.
nat 20.
Nix,
Pretty good stealth check, though.
You notice this elf look around quickly, pinpoints the wagon, shrink down, and you hear over, and you can see a couple of the crates and barrels that were on the wagon just kind of shift ever so slightly as he
Uh,
seemingly vanishes. Also, as we are looking at this, Nix, would you mind describing your character, please?
as Nick starts getting up to his feet, anyone who's seen shifters before and will notice that he's probably a little taller and larger, more solidly built than shifters tend to be on average. Um, if but at the same time, he doesn't look a lot like other shifters. Instead of like wolf or tiger features, he has slight dragon features. There's a couple small dragon horns on his head and some scales on the sides of his neck. And his red hair and orange eyes kind of stand out as well. Um, but he usually keeps a long bow and arrows nearby as well, and um, when he's decked on his gear, he also has rapier at his belt. Not at the moment though, since he was sleeping. um, and he also usually has like a dark gray cloak with a hood to to try and hide his features a little better when he feels the need to do so.
Perfect.
Um,
Um,
and at the
what do you do?
moment,
What are you doing in this situation?
uh, Nyx is going to quietly step in the direction where he thinks he saw the movement, to try and figure out what's going on.
Okay. Um, Cal, are you invisible or
You're muted.
muted?
I am half sized and I teleported away. So I'm about 3 feet tall and I'm crouched down inside of the wagon.
You, Nix, you head over to the wagon and just kind of glance in. You can see a shock of white hair, just kind of smaller than you initially saw, but just kind of ducked down and hiding in the wagon itself.
Um, a quick question: did Cal ever mention what he wanted a respite from earlier?
Nope, just said that I needed to escape something that was chasing me.
Okay. Nyx will tap on the white hair and say, "What were you running from?"
Cal hisses a whisper and says, "You'll give me away. Go away."
Nyx will casually glance at the darkness around the camp before looking back at the white hair
Make a
to
perception
see if
check
he
for me.
sees anything.
Yeah, make a perception check.
14.
14. You look around, not specifically seeing anything. You listen out for footsteps or different sounds and um you do hear night sounds. You hear grasshoppers. You hear different insects. There is some shifting of bushes off on the opposite side of the camp. But as you look over there and kind of your heart rate starts to go up, you notice there's an individual from the caravan coming out, you know, uh, after doing his business. But you don't hear anything specific.
Okay. All right. Next, looking back towards Cal, Nyx is gonna ask quietly, "Is there a reason you need to hide from
Did you
us?"
not? Did you not see Fenrir?
Who? What?
The wolf god. He was chasing me through the night.
Hmm. The Would Nyx recognize that name?
Yeah, I mean, you especially around these parts, it's an old wives' tale meant to tell
Uh,
the kid it's to tell the kids to keep them out of the forest.
Tell you what, if some wolf god shows up, we'll take care of him for you. Okay, just give us reason to not kick you out.
I thought I already did.
By the
Trying to
way,
hide.
Cal,
Yeah.
as you take stock, as you're trying to hide and yet still being hounded by this um, red-haired individual, uh, you reach down to kind of staunch whatever bleeding is, at the back on the back of your calf. That was a big hit. Your hand comes back with no blood. You look down and there is no bite, and yet your
Uh,
head still hurts.
I sit up. Is there the clothing is not torn even? Okay. Uh, could I do an insight check into myself to see if I'm going insane?
Please do,
You
yes.
know, people do these things. They take inventory. Oh
Oh
no.
no.
Cal, the first time in your long life, you're not sure what's real. Fenrir,
Cal,
Fenrir may really have been chasing you.
Cal stands up, uh, gets out of the wagon slowly. Uh, I'm not seeing a 1 minute. I'm out of time, so I grow back to full size. 6 foot, 6'1", and I put my wrists together, and point them to my new friend and say, "For my safety, I request you take me into custody."
Amazing.
Nix is not entirely sure, but Nix
Please?
will just grab one of his hands and shake it and say, "We'll keep an eye on you, okay?" And then Nix will pat his back and gently guide him towards the campfire.
Uh, uh, okay. Um, okay.
Rattled.
Cal sits down hesitantly next to the fire and just like stares off into the darkness in every direction.
As you approach the campfire, the guard, the individuals up, keeping watch, um, seeing Nyx with you, uh, doesn't point his crossbow, but he keeps a weary eye. And specifically, he says, "Nyx, we're almost to town. Should we take this one in, or?"
Please, I requested to be taken into custody.
He looks really confused.
Uh, he claims some wolf god was chasing him.
No, no. That's when I tell my kids to stop them from going wandering.
I don't know. He's
Hey,
probably as confused as we are from the looks of it.
Look, there was some kind of demonic creature. There were wolves. I was bitten, and now instead of bleeding from my leg, I'm bleeding from my nose. I don't know how else to describe that or to explain that without Fenrir being involved.
sure, buddy. Sure. All right. Well,
You know what?
let's
I'll keep an eye on him.
please do. Please do. Um, well, try and get some sleep. We have about a half day till we get to town. And then you're leaving us, right, Nix?
Uh, yeah, I was gonna hang around. What was it, Hermouthen?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bummer. Bummer. It was nice having you around. Another another person to keep these morons alive. Well,
Eh,
I'll get some rest and Blue Boy, keep your grubs off our stuff. And with that, you both attempt to rest the rest of the night. And we move to the next day. Almost like the camera pans out and comes back in to show the town of Hermilton. A once semi decent town, mining and in trade, now turns uh, um, my brain just died. Now turned logging. Now turned into a logging town with less than a quarter of the individuals left who once lived there. There are boarded up of homes and buildings. Uh, we see the river that flows through Hermilton, and the one massive mountain not too far away, just a stone's throw, with switchbacks leading up to a massive black stone citadel. We don't go to the citadel. We go to one of these boarded up homes. Well, it wasn't quite a home. It was a shop. Now, once the sign out front, emblazed in golden lettering, is now faded. The windows are boarded up, and there is a small trickle of smoke emanating uh, from the smokestack. Max, would you mind describing your character and what he would be doing midday on just a normal, average day?
Mm. You see an older gold dragonborn, shining, well dressed, kept up, within the walls of what is now essentially his home, formerly his business. Currently, he's eating on some tack, or some bread, some rations he has for his midday lunch. With a single lantern still outside the store, door still open, bell still primed. With what little stock he may have, if any at all, pondering perhaps taking a stroll, going to the bar a bit early today. He's currently equipped in full. Gosh dang it, what does he wear? Scale mail. Polished, almost untouched. With a near golden sheen, if he could transmute it, he would. Prepared to defend his shop should the need ever arise.
As you are, what is your name?
Karzan.
Tarzan. Tarzan, as you are sitting around a table, eating your food, your bread, your rations, uh, trying to keep warm on this even middle of the day freezing temperature. Uh, you hear a dut, 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 dut at your door.
He stands up, cleans himself, walks up to the door, yells, "Who is it?"
Tarzan, it's Colt. You, you presentable? You good to go?
Always, and he'll open the door.
You see a purple skinned tiefling, horns stretch back and kind of come curl back towards the front. Um, Handsome, if not a little plain. He sits in um, worker's vest with a big coat over it, holding an axe up to his shoulder. The boys wanted to know if you wanted to come and help out and chopping some trees for a bit, make some coin. Um, Varen sent me over. If you wanted to help out a little bit, or I don't know, provide some of whatever that magic is you have, or
Tarzan thinks for a moment. What's the pay?
um, depending on what is chopped and what we're able to mill today. Uh, two silver for the rest of the day's work.
Very well.
It'll be like 10 copper if
That
we
is
don't. Or
sufficient. He'll cut him off and start walking.
sure, all right. You see he's got another axe by his side and hands it to you.
He'll grab it.
And you make your way out into the woods. So looks like there are three paths out of town. One that you know to the northwest. I always have to do that. Northwest that leads to the old entrance to the mines. One leads up to the Citadel, and then the other one heads south to the out into the woods, and he leads you towards the south. There's a group of maybe 5 or 6 individuals. You recognize Varen as well. He's the leader of the lumberjacks. He nods to you. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Garzan, we're a little short man today. You guys head into the woods and start chopping trees. You see Varen goes out and marks the few, and you kind of pair up, and you spend the afternoon logging and milling. Is there anything you would like to do specifically while you are working?
I'll
Do
be
you keep to
casting.
yourself? Do you try and get to know people? What are you casting?
Sorry, I'm reviewing what I got available.
Okay.
Man, I got
Yeah,
nothing that
anything you
lasts
can do
long.
to help them, you might get an. You know, Varen's pretty good at bringing up a little extra pay if you can help speed up the process.
Hmm. Okay. Well then, I'm just looking at the spells I have. I'll be casting guidance constantly to
On yourself or others.
both when the situation is appropriate.
Okay.
Whichever looks more recognizable.
So it's not overt, or it's not secret. It's
No,
you're showing. Yeah.
exactly.
The rest of the day goes on. You can constantly casting guidance and helping out wherever you can, doing the maybe not the massive hard work for your age, but you are aiding in whatever way
At
you
one
can.
point, Tarzan gets very tired, and he takes a breather and he says, I'm going to take a minute. And he waves his hand, and a golden hatchet or axe appears as he casts spiritual weapon.
Nice. With that, you continue. Sun sets very early, like I'm talking 3:30, 4 in the afternoon, and before that happens, Varen calls it and says, "All right, let's bring her in. Got some good work today, guys. Good job." And he starts divvying out pay for everybody. He comes to you and drops 3 silver in your hand. Appreciate the work today. I know it's hard for you to get out, but appreciate it.
Not a problem.
All
And
right.
he'll heat his hands up if it's cold. I'm assuming it's very cold.
Oh, it's extremely cold.
He'll use a
Yeah,
bit of his fire breath to keep his hands warm as well.
perfect. Where do you go now?
Is it the afternoon?
It is now dark. Again, it is like middle of the afternoon, 3:45, somewhere around there.
Garzan will then go immediately to the tavern. To the
As
hidden stash.
you make your way to the hidden stash, and we shift over, Kyle. Where do we find your character? And would you please describe him?
So, if you were walking through the front doors of the bar, I don't know exactly how it's laid out, but somewhere at the bar, it depends on if there's a lot of people at the bar currently. you'll probably find Ergi, my character, um, in a somewhat secluded location where he can drink away his current sorrows. He is a 6'4", 280-pound Leonin with a huge mane, quite glorious in a sort of sad spirited way. He is always clad in his chainmail, um, with a shield and a warhammer on his back, and he's powerfully present but sulking.
And it's pronounced Ergi?
Ergi.
Ergi, okay. Ergi, not gonna lie, you've probably been in the bar by yourself in a corner for most of the day, I would assume.
Yeah, most of the last week or two.
Yeah, you've been in town for 2 weeks, and in that time you have seen the bar in your room. Barely going out. You've not really even looked upon the rest of the town or the Citadel. You've heard people talk about it. You've heard the rumors, the ideas that these individuals have that the Citadel is, alive and eats people that goes in, or that the mine is haunted, and you've heard all of it just by your uh, your presence in your little corner.
If you're looking at Ergi, you can almost see him think, "Oh, I'm sure it's all a hoax. What if it's not? Who cares?" He drinks more.
Today, however, it's a little different. The atmosphere of the bar, the tavern, is energetic. You recognize people filtering in, and you also you don't recognize some of the people filtering in. But that's kind of second thought. Your first thought, as you look down at your cup, you can feel the necklace around your neck. In the foam of whatever you're drinking, you almost see faces. And that necklace becomes heavier. And then you hear a voice over the din of the people that are here. Loud, yet powerful. And you look up to see a blue skinned elf with white hair standing on one of the tables, seemingly telling a story. And for some reason, the sight and the story, it pulls you out of that inner turmoil. It pulls you away from sad thoughts, dark thoughts. As you listen to the story that's told. Tarzan, you've made your way to the hidden stash, seeing the familiar individuals here with some new faces. And you walk in at the very beginning of whatever this blue skinned elf is orating. Cal, if you would like to, you can begin your oration.
Cal, starting low, sitting, talking to a younger patron. Younger patrons here would be of age, I'm assuming, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, a younger patron. And just speaking on eye to eye level, but in a harsh, not harsh, but aggressive, loud whisper, meant to be heard by the entire room, but very much trying to give the intent of just talking to the one person. Starts and says, "Let me tell you the story of Therdrax Lorien, one of the great elf lords of all ages. And let me tell you of the heartache that his journey began with. Therdrax was the son of the queen of the region, and he was sent one day into the depths of an unknown dungeon with one task, and that task was to end the lives of a group of adventurers that his mother found unfortunate. That story, that dreadful story." And as he's talking, he slowly rises up. Took a harsh turn when, in a room full of poisonous mushrooms with poisonous spore clouds, Therdrax went to do his job. Went to cast a spell to trigger an explosion that would take the lives of the entire party. He hesitated. And he made a decision. He decided not to follow through. This seemingly small task, this seemingly small decision, led to a group of adventurers who were willing to forgive, who were willing to take his hand of friendship. The group of them then returned to the queen, who had given the adventurers their quest to cash in and receive their payment for their brave heroism in cleaning out this dungeon. And while in the presence of the queen, the lead of this party took off the hand of Therdrax Lorien, the hand of friendship that was extended to him, and threw it into the lap of the queen, scoffing in her face. Now you must say to yourself, a spellcaster without a hand? Poor soul. But I will tell you in the next hours of the great deeds of Therdrax Lorien, of the barbarian Calidor who removed his hand, and of the destiny that they became intertwined with in that very moment. And at that moment, he's up on a table and he starts talking about, and I could go on for hours, but we'll just kind of cut out there. But he starts going off about the different adventures and different entities that they stopped, including a group of people who were trying to raise to deityhood, and that they prevented a mass genocide, and tells the prolonged story of that set of adventures.
Tarzan, you walk in right as he gets up onto the table. Where do you go?
Basically, don't even acknowledge him. I just walk straight up to the bar.
You go up to the bar, and Marlon Joybringer, the uh,
All right.
young halfling.
To parallel how Karzan is acting in this, it's the equivalent of those videos where people are filming a TikTok and they're like acting, and then somebody kind of just walks right in the middle of the shot and completely ruins it, and then keeps walking. That's exactly how
Oh,
Karzan walks in front of him for that brief moment.
awesome. You just beeline it. Uh, and I think, Cal, while you're in your story, you're in your element. You have, I would say, probably a dozen or more individuals, both young and elderly, wholly engrossed in your stories. You track one of the individuals just kind of ignore you.
Is Marlin enraptured by him as well, or is he at the bar?
Marlon's at the bar.
Oh, thank goodness.
You you see Marlon Joybringer, the halfling barkeep and owner of the Hidden Stash. Uh, he's up on several boxes behind the bar, so it's tall enough for everyone else, but he can still be, present. Uh, he sees you walk over, nods, knows exactly what you want, and grabs your preferred drink and slides it over to you.
Karzan
Fun place, huh?
smiles for the first time in the day and says, "You hired a new act in town, I see."
He comes by every uh, few years. Guys don't recognize or remember him. He had quite an interesting time last time. Got into a fight or two, but that's all right.
I wasn't there for that, right? No, I wasn't. Oh well. Nothing exciting ever happens here anyway. And he'll start going down his drink.
Not for the last 3 decades, at least. And you see, Marlon, he looks younger than you know he is. Uh, and you also know that it is primarily because of the magic he uses to look younger. Um, he goes off and tends to some other individuals. Um, and you dive into your drink. Nyx, keeping
Yes.
your word, I'm assuming you followed uh, the elf. By the way, would you guys have introduced yourselves in the morning or kept it kind of separated?
Uh, Everybody in that party heard a detailed account of Calidor Starweaver and his glorious victory over the evil god Fenrir the next day. In detail.
Nix would have just shaked his head, but probably not said anything.
Fair enough.
But he would have introduced himself as Nix in passing.
Nyx, you keep your promise and you follow him into the tavern, which is, as you've come to find out, the only place in town that has extra beds, has extra places to sleep. As you walk in, from the biting cold outside to the warm interior, you can already hear Cal going into one of his stories. You see about a dozen, 15 people around listening and very enthralled with the story itself. You can
um,
see a.
real quick,
Yeah, what's up?
after Carson's gotten about halfway through his first drink, not too long into the story, I hope, as he did hear at least the beginning part, he's going to take out his deck real quick. And he's going to lay out his cards, and he's going to cast Augury.
Ooh. All right.
And his question will be, let's see, what is it? I'm double checking what I have to
It's just
ask.
a yes,
No, it's
yes or
more
no
like
question.
let's see. You receive an omen from another about the results from a specific course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. Well, Karzan will cast these cards on the table, and he will ask himself, "Is listening to this blue elf worth a damn?" Or giving any
You,
heed.
yeah, you flip what you think is one card, and as you throw it onto the table, it separates into two. That's weird. You pull them apart, and the you get both a joker and an ace.
He'll take the cards and he'll see if they're sticking and they're smooth.
They're smooth,
Hmm.
as they are on the table themselves. You swear that they both kind of rotate of their own to point to, in two other directions. They are facing away from you, and the Joker with his hand pointing up, and the Ace with the point, both of them pointing towards you, but also now one's pointing to the door, and the other looks like it's pointing to one of the corners.
He'll take his drink, sniff it. Yeah, that's the normal amount of alcohol. He'll look up and he'll look at one of those corners.
Um,
He'll take a closer look
in the
at least.
corner, you've noticed this individual for the last couple of weeks
And
here,
he'll
but
cast guidance on himself for wisdom.
um, you've noticed this individual here for the last couple of weeks, but there is a large Leonin in the corner. One of those enraptured by the story that's being told.
And the ace is pointing to him. And the joker is pointing to the
The
door.
the Joker is pointing to him.
Okay. And the ace is pointing to the door.
Ace is pointing to the door. Which, as you look, there's nobody there. But about 30 seconds later, an individual hood up, cloak enfolding him with looks like some a shock of red hair or a lock of red hair falling out the front enters. And Nix, you walk into what you believe is a typical tavern. There are people drinking, and there's you can see several individuals by themselves in corners and in the far reaches of this fairly large common room down here. Um, at the bar, you can see a golden dragonborn who's looking your direction, um, and a halfling on the opposite side of the bar uh, waves, and you can barely hear a welcome over the rest of uh, the noise that's in here. Um, What do you do?
Right. Nyx is gonna walk kind of around Cal's story group to head to the bar to get a drink.
Okay.
Um, is there a space that is there like a seat that's like kind of near the Golden Dragonborn, but like not too close?
Yeah, yeah, there is. You actually notice that most of the seats around this admittedly grouchy-looking Dragonborn are empty. Kind of like people are staying away from. It seems. I don't know. But there is a couple of seats that are close by him. Yeah.
Okay.
You head up to the bar. You sit down on this big stool, and the halfling on the other side. Hey, welcome to the Hidden Stash. What can I get you? Looking for room for room
Um,
to stay for drink.
well, I think I will need a room, yes. What drinks are good here? Or
Sorry,
should I just
Carson will
say that again.
interrupt
Sorry.
him, and it's like, the vodka's good.
Okay, maybe I'm not gonna go with that strong, but thank you for this suggestion.
Mm. He nods. What color is Nyx, dragon parts wise?
Uh lightly silver.
Okay.
The halfling goes, all right, I've got. So you don't want it that strong, but decently. Yay? No.
Uh sure, I'll have a bit of that and then I guess some water afterwards. Um
Fair enough. He goes back. He goes, and you see on the opposite side of the this really kind of tall bar. There's just a row of boxes that have been stacked there for this guy to just kind of walk back and forth on. And he walks up to the other side, grabs a bottle of something, kind of a light purple, light violet, and he comes back, pours you a drink, a shot. All right, uh, this is a local vintage. Well, it was when they were making it. Anyway, it's kind of fun. Kind of a fruity drink. Uh, enjoy. That's 3 copper.
all right. Nyx will pull out 3 copper and put that on the counter for the drink.
3 what? Sorry.
Oh. Actually Nyx is gonna ask you, I've changed for a silver.
Yeah, I've got it. And he pulls out the change for it. And you exchange it. You try the drink. You take the shot, and it's fruity for like the first 30 seconds, and then it burns going down. Uh, Not painfully, but enough. You're like, yeah, this is a lot. A lot more of this, and it's. I'm probably gonna get hammered tonight.
That is strong. Yeah. Probably just
Mhm.
water after that.
Yeah, fair. Um, the rest of you, Cal, are you still going on your story?
Yeah, I'm pretty much. This is my plan. For the night, keep people coming in, keep the story going, keep telling about their Drax Lorien unless somebody makes a request for a specific story. Uh,
At this point, like it, as the night continues, nobody else asks for anything different. Um, Small town. There's not a whole lot of people uh, asking for new things, and I love the preemptive performance check. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Um,
If there's ever a low point in the story where one could interrupt, Curzon will speak up and say, "How about a rags to riches story?"
Sure. Due to the lack of sleep that Cal has gotten in the last night, his brain freezes up a little bit.
If you, I mean, like, you don't have to improv one on the spot. I'm just.
No, yeah. Uh, I had one, but I'd lost it. Anyway, he begins with the story of a ship captain. Well, not a ship captain, a boy from a small town who eventually, and because I'm not, yeah, but it progresses to the point where he becomes a ship captain, and then eventually, due to some changes in legal code, becomes a pirate lord, and ends up being one of the most successful pirate lords of his age. It's a 45-minute story, but that's the cliff notes of it.
Nice.
Awesome. During that time, Energy and Nyx, anything else you guys wanted to specifically do or look into?
Nyx does get a cup of water at some point, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So at some point, he's gonna look over at the Golden Dragonborn and ask real quick. So, quick question: you live here? What's your name?
Socializing, are we? Well, haven't done that in a while. He'll take his drink and push it a bit. The name.
Uh, oh, and while Carson's replying, Nyx is gonna start taking a drink of water.
The name is Carson Maloon of the Maloons. You may have heard of them. Wealthy little sons of, well, proprietor and owner of the once popular Golden Vein General Store, just down the street a little bit.
Um, yeah. I think I may have heard the Balloon name somewhat. Sorry, water went down the wrong way.
You may have, you may not have. Some in my family are secretive, others are flamboyant. I've lived here for, too long. Devoted my entire life to the goddess of commerce, Joaquin. And it's made me, well, not very wealthy. But I'm here, and I can eat. That's as good as most people can ask. What about you?
Just came here to look into something. Came over here about weeks away from. Let's see. Have you heard of a little town called Ercia from about west of here? Ercia.
I believe I have had a few trade partners who'd supply me with some. I believe it was shields. They made good shields. Other than that, yes, I'm aware of it.
Okay. Yeah, I grew up around those parts. Then I've been in the area a bit. Well, that area. I mean, not this area.
Oh, well. We all. Many a person wanders into town only to wander right back out. But what brings you here anyway?
Uh,
What would bring anyone here, really, besides the mine?
okay. Uh, the mines are part of it, so to speak.
Figures.
But
Excuse me.
just there's a bit of family stuff I want to look into as well.
Family. Well, you may be looking for Are you looking for living family or dead family? Because if it's in the mines, I wouldn't keep my hopes up.
To be discovered.
Dead then. And he'll take another drink.
Yeah, I hope not, but who knows?
Well,
As
Oh,
as the
name's
mines
Nix, by
as
the
the
way.
mines are mentioned. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Oh, Nix was just gonna mention offhand that his name is Nix.
yeah. Well, pleasure to
As
meet
the
you. And
mines are mentioned,
he'll take his handshake while he's doing that. But
Marlon wanders over. There's something about the mines. Not, boy, are you another one coming in to seek fortune in there? Because please don't. I don't want another casualty. It's you can ask anyone around here. Please tell me you're not.
Uh,
something
not
clicks
not
in Carson's
fortune,
mind,
really.
and he'll cut him off. Do you need supplies?
Possibly.
Well, I've got some old mining equipment back in my place, but yeah, some levers, pulleys, the finest stuff you could find, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, am I kidding? It's been too long.
Well, eh. Well, if I go
Marlon
into the mines, I'll stop by.
Marlon looks over at you, Carson. That was a decent attempt. I mean, the line was there. The sales line was there, but he hands you another drink, Carson.
He takes it.
It's I know it's been a while.
I'm so rusty, Marlon.
I know.
If I had half the charisma of that blue feather over there, maybe I'd make myself worth a darn.
He tells interesting stories, though, that's for sure.
Give me 2 seconds, guys.
No problem.
Let's say sorry.
No, this cold's working perfect for my character. I'm only gonna have to hope I can
I
replicate it.
I can't tell when you're coughing in character and out of character.
Thank you. It's both.
Beautiful. Inspirational.
Oh, I forgot to mention. Um, as Carson's been talking to you, and ever since he whipped out that deck of cards and whipped it back in, he's been playing in his hands and his claws a very polished gold piece. Or
Okay.
actually, well, no, actually, this one wouldn't be polished. It's actually very dirty. It's soot covered. You'd almost call it a copper if you didn't see a glint of gold occasionally. And kind of absent-mindedly plays with it as he's talking to you.
Um, Nix will like notice it, but he won't comment on it.
Hmm.
Like different people have different takes, that sort of thing. Uh, Oh, uh, was Tarzan wearing scale mail? It's polished, you said?
Yes, the scale mail is polished, well kept. Doesn't have a
Okay,
dent in it.
Is scale mail medium? Is that heavy?
it's
Medium.
medium.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. It Nyx will kind of pointedly not look right at that armor.
Oh, jeez.
Finally got a bit of a backstory written up for Nyx.
I would have had more written down if I didn't get sick. But I got
It
I got
happens.
ideas rattling, and I'm improvising a backstory at the same time, so I'll have more ideas to work with at the end of this section.
Okay.
Is Fenrir a Norse god?
Yeah,
Okay.
son of Loki.
Are you knowledgeable about Norse gods?
I'm currently running a Norse D&D campaign with 2
Awesome.
sessions left. So, yeah.
Okay,
That's why when I needed a wolf demon god thing, I fell back on Fenrir.
gotcha. Who would be the god of commerce,
Ooh.
if there was one?
That's
Or
doesn't
trade?
exactly fit any that I'm particularly familiar with. Um,
Or god
I guess
worshipped by
Vanier is
merchants?
wealth.
Wealth could be good.
Um, yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, you could go really. There's like wealth, and there's like rating, but
Mm,
that's like not what you're thinking.
no.
Like, uh,
Anyway, sorry guys. My kids were having a meltdown.
No, it's alright.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. That needs to be taken care of.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, sorry. As the afternoon moves into evening, I apologize. Where did we leave off?
I believe me and Nyx were kind of just exchanging pleasantries and talking.
Okay.
More or less.
You guys are shooting the breeze, just kind of getting to know each other a little bit. Um, Irgi, anything anything you want to do? Anything stand out? What's on Irgi's mind right now?
Um, he'll probably wait until the stories are over, and then he'll go up to Cal to give him a thanks.
my pleasure. Is there any particular reason that you are seeking the joys of adventure this evening?
Joys, joys of adventuring. Thanks again, and then he'll go to refill his drink.
Um, how much have you been drinking throughout the day?
So much so that even though I have a past of tons of work and probably a decent amount of gold, I'm down to 1 silver piece.
Okay. As you go to the bar, you kind of shuffle in between uh, a gold dragonborn and an individual um, who's got like a huge mane of red hair himself. Uh, you kind of shuffle in between them as they're talking and hold up your drink to Marlin. Marlin's like, "Hey, yeah, big guy, you sure? Kind of been over there for well, a lot of the day. I'm not trying to stop you. I'm just that's a lot of a lot of alcohol consumed."
Um, hmm. He's gonna go ahead and use his channel divinity, dreadful aspect,
Sorry, what?
Ooh.
You describe it and describe what it looks like.
Yep. So as an action, the paladin channels the darkest emotions and focuses them into a burst of magical menace. Each creature of the paladin's choice within 30 feet must make a wisdom saving throw or be frightened. And he's just going to target the barkeep. He's had way too much to drink.
Oh, that's fair. Um,
Ooh.
okay.
It's just of your creatures of your choice.
Yeah,
Okay.
That is a 4 on the dice. What's
Oof.
it's
your
a
DC?
13.
You see his face go from this joyful individual to his eyes going wide, and there's just pure terror. He's like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, here." I mean, grabs an extra mug of whatever you're drinking, puts it in front of you. You know what? That one's on the house. That's fine. Yeah, we're good. He goes out the other side of the bar.
Um, and then the party who is around me currently will immediately notice the look on Ergi's face that turns from anger to guilt as he sits down, or as the barkeep leaves the counter or whatever. Ergi almost like reaches out to correct himself, his bad manners, and then just sulks back down and sits
Cal
wherever between the two.
immediately Cal immediately steps in, casts Gift of Gab on the barkeep, and replaces everything that was said in the last 6 seconds in the barkeep's head with common pleasantries. Uh, and then leaves a coin on the bar equal to the cost of the drink, and then walks away without saying a word to anyone.
um. Wow. Okay. Um.
I was gonna ask to make a if I could recognize he was using a channel divinity, but now I need to recognize the entire situation that's happening.
You
Uh,
walk up to
I,
a frightened Marlin. You know Marlin, not like extremely well, but you know that he's generally one of the most glasses half full. No, the glass is all full guys. He's not, but he looks terrified. You go up, smile at him, cast Gift of Gab, and you can see his face goes from pain and terror to keeping an eye on the Leonin in the corner, and yet the smile comes back. And although he stays as far away from this large individual as he can, he is still now pleasantly talking to his customers.
And it's a
Um,
1 minute spell as well.
After a minute, he then starts to come back closer and mingle with the individuals on that side of the bar again, on
Can I
the side of the bar closest.
can I make some sort of check to comprehend that entire exchange?
Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Okay.
um,
You know what? I'll say Arcana or Religion.
I think Nix is probably trying to process what just happened as well, and he's new to the area.
All right. Well,
Um, Go ahead and make a Perception check, or Perception or Arcana. I'll say one of those two. um, Tarzan, you what was that? That was Arcana. Um, you're not sure what frightened, other than the terrifying look of the large lion man in the corner. Uh, but you do recognize that a spell was cast on Marlin. You're Not sure who from or where things came from, but it helped to calm him a bit. And Nyx, it's not so much you see something, you felt a pulse when this Leonin individual came over and asked for another drink. You felt a pulse from him, which didn't do anything to you. It just is constantly there, or was there for that brief second, and then the weird interaction, and now the barkeep seems fine. It was weird. Both of you have the thought, well, that was the most interesting thing that we've seen all day.
Ergi went back to his table, correct?
He was just gonna sit down at the bar where he
Okay.
was.
Using proper, crowd manners, being properly polite, using your crowd senses, meaning jabbing people in the ribs with your elbows. Cal makes space next to Leonin, and whispers to him with a hand on his shoulder, "Hey, friend, this barkeep has it hard enough. You don't need to take it out on him."
I'll look at Cal solemnly, Ergy will, and he'll say, I know. And then he'll continue drinking.
By any chance, this barkeep knows me, for one. But by any chance, is there within arm's reach a number of, the kinds of small things that would get added to, say, like rock salt or olives or things like that I can reach within arm's reach? And say a couple little cook's utensils kind of stuff. I would have left my bag in my room, so I don't have my own. But would I be able to reach like a couple knives and stuff like that?
Easy
Okay.
enough, yeah.
I reach over the counter and I use my proficiency in cook's utensils and I make a small snack, which, due to the fact that you're already at full HP, won't do anything. But I give you a small little snack that would heal 1 HP to you, Ergi, and then I just wander away.
As you reach over, you grab some things. Marlin eyes you. You kind of give him the flashing the smile, and he's like, his rolls his eyes, gives you the nod, and you can do whatever you're planning on doing there. Um, are you this odd cracker with some chopped up olives and uh, some salts and just a pinch of sugar gets put in place in front of you.
I'll eat it.
Okay, it's good, surprisingly good, and you feel a bit of an ever so slight bit of rejuvenation.
I mean, I'm sure I've had experience with that kind of thing in the past. Lots of healers and things. Is it somewhat related to something I felt?
I'm just a really good cook, man.
You
Is there a magical
being
touch to it?
being a healer yourself, there's no magical touch. It's just the flavors and the everything was just positioned in such a perfect way that you place the crack in your mouth and it kind of just melts into a sweet and savory conglomeration of deliciousness.
Oh, I'll let out a little smile that probably looks more like a grimace or a growl to other people.
Can I
Marlin,
get a feel
the
for?
shop, or the,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
real quick, the tavern keep. You let out this smile, and he goes and goes off to the other side, siding with somebody else.
Could I
Tarzan?
size up this Leonin? I've probably seen him for a while, and I've most likely kind of kept an eye on him and asked Marlin about him. Can I size him up and see kind of what his deal is externally?
Insight check.
Yeah.
Um,
Come on. Oh well.
is
I got great additions. I'm just rolling awful.
one sec. It's hard to tell. He's not. He's not very open, and he keeps things close to his chest. Uh, it's hard to tell. And Kyle, I just sent you a question on Discord.
Well,
It's, Um, one sec. Yeah, no, it's hard to tell. This crazy armored, seeming warrior of an individual. That's kind of what you get. Is he's seen combat. He's seen crap.
is Cal still nearby, or is he off on a table telling a story? What's he doing?
I'm in the immediate vicinity, trying to keep an ear open. Not well, but uh, I did intentionally kind of wander away and let Leonin do his own thing after I gave a little bit of a token. But I'm within about 10, 15 feet.
What's the patronage of the tavern looking right now? How many people are in?
It's probably a solid 25, 30 people.
Okay.
It's a pretty hopping night from what you're used to. You do notice brain needs to work. My notes need to be closer. Um, you notice Varen and Colt, the individuals you worked with earlier today, at a table, and notedly, they're so those two normally drink with a another individual, a younger uh, mage, in fact, named Soren, and Soren is absent. But those two are sitting in one of the corner booths. Um, you recognize uh, most of the people in here. You don't really keep track of the younger generation for the most part, but uh, you recognize the majority of people.
All right.
Question. So on the
Yeah.
way to the hidden stash, is it like obvious that the town used to be a lot more populated? Or
Yes,
okay,
there's a lot of boarded up buildings and homes. Um, there are uh, like bulletin boards that are posted in certain areas that have pages and things that are written on them or scratched away. Um, it it feels eerie walking through the streets of this town, especially at night.
okay,
There are people walking around with axes over their shoulders, and that by itself is weird to you specifically. But Yeah, there's not an air of depression, but there is an air of absence in the town itself. So,
Okay.
as the sorry, what's up?
Uh, Nix was just gonna kind of look at both like Irgi and Karzin, but more at Karzin and comment like, so what's up with all the boarded up houses?
You might want your blue friends to enlighten you on that. He'd probably be better to tell a better story. The short version, Tarzan will set up. There was a mine. It was a good mine. They built a castle over it. It was such a good mine. And then it stopped being good. The end.
The tavern keep comes over. It's a little more than that, but yeah, he's got the gist of it. They said to dig. They said they dug too deep and found something. That was yeah 3 decades ago, 30 years, and people have been leaving. Not much in this town anymore, other than some some good lumberjacks. And he holds up a cup to a group of individuals in the corner, and they're like, "Yeah!" And they drink to it, and that's about it. Sorry, couldn't help but over here. Whenever
Yeah,
I guess whenever the mine or citadel is brought up, I
no, it's good.
still have I still have nightmares. And I know, and he kind of nods to you, Carson. I know most of us do. Not a
Uh,
pleasant.
I think Cal has a certain ping in his ear for the word nightmare, and makes his way over and says, "What exactly would have caused nightmares?"
My nightmare is working an honest days and living. Disgusting.
So, Stormweaver, do you remember coming here before the collapse?
Occasionally, yeah.
Yeah. There was something that happened at the mines.
Something.
And something. The official report is that it was a gas leak. That's a, yeah, yeah. None of us believe it. None of us believe it.
Oh,
They found they had to have found something down there because as everyone was trying to run out of the mines, creatures were following them.
Ergy's ears perk up. What sort of creatures?
I mean, not gonna lie, they don't really like talking about it, but
you mean Simeon doesn't like talking about it?
no, no, he does not. Uh, Twisted creatures, things that
Things.
shouldn't be,
I
and
see.
that Cal is what I mean by nightmares. Just the hearsay stories from those well, those very few who survived that initial. I would rather not think about it for too much longer. Not gonna lie.
It
my old constitution isn't as what it used to be. You can
I
see.
I totally understand, Marlon. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, yeah. And
yeah.
I'll say
Nick
without even an insight check needed, you can see in his eyes there is some. I mean, you saw in his eyes terror before, but this is pure fear. Before he looks away. Another round. Anyone? No.
Yeah, just water for me. That fruit drink, what's it called again? That was strong enough.
That's fair. Yeah. He hands another water cup and puts a lemon in it,
Thanks. Nyx
and
is
then he
gonna
moves on
slide
to.
like
Maybe I
after Marlon walks away. Nyx is like gonna slide like 4 more coppers onto the counter.
maybe if I had been more present during that day, I'd give it more levity that it deserves. I was back in my room, counting my gold, as usual, taking stock. Heard a commotion. Commotion got a bit louder. Eventually decided to look out, and by the time I got out, didn't really, it all calmed down for the most part.
Did
A
you
lot of
ever
shaken people.
see any of these creatures or have them described to you?
I've had them described as creatures.
Just creatures.
It's hard to get a straight answer out of anyone who saw anything that day.
Who's Simeon?
Oh, Simeon. He's the smith in town. Dwarf, stout, as they tend to be. He was in the expedition. I know because I sold a few picks to that expedition. And he was the one who bought them from me.
That on my
Well,
wife. My wife something.
Oh no.
Fascinating. How long were they
Sorry,
gone? Do you know between when they headed down and they came back out, Simeon?
No, not
Uh,
really. Didn't really keep track of just expeditions, just when they came into my shop.
yeah, that's fair. Maybe I'll have to give Simeon a little bit of a visit later.
Any reason for your interest in the mine?
I mean, it's a great story.
To some, with the right spin.
There's always the right spin.
Yeah, there sure is.
yeah,
Carson.
like that story you told this morning.
There is never a way to not profit from your own embarrassment.
Disagree. He'll take another swig.
also disagree.
That sounds like it's got a story behind it. Either of you care to share?
Thaddeus will whip out, reach into his pocket. He already had one gold piece out in his hands he was fiddling with. He'll take out the second. The first gold piece is old and rusted. It's dirty. You can barely tell it's a gold piece. And the second gold piece is basically brand new. This is the first and the last gold pieces I made at that store. Golden Bane. Came here with a bucket and a dream, I did. Connections with the family, trade routes. The general store had the quality products, not like those horsehead brothers. I knew the
Talking
right
about
places to
Hal and
buy.
Xanthos?
Yeah, don't mention them.
My bad.
Okay.
They're well-meaning, but their products, they don't know how to source them. Just get them from wherever. I knew the right buyers. I knew the right sellers. Just a little late to the real estate was all. Prime property, right on the thoroughfare, straight towards the mine. And those brothers come a few days earlier and snatch it up. I'm left on the far west side of the town with my shop.
Hmm.
Well, my story is not for the faint of heart.
Must be a good one then.
Well, I'm listening.
Hey, if I was faint of heart, I wouldn't
Just,
be here in this bar.
I'll just sit there for a little bit.
Are you waiting for the proper effects and the lights around us turn like a vivid blue instead of like the standard firelight?
You hear
I'm
you hear a
afraid
bunch
not.
of the patrons. Uh, some of them go, "Ooh, ah!" Some of them go, "What the heck?"
Yours is a life of hope, Elf. I do not wish to destroy it.
Light can only exist or be noticed where there is great darkness. The inclusion of pain does not prevent joy.
That's that.
I guess I'll have to get that story out of you another time then.
At this point, it's moving into the evening as I guess the four of you kind of sit around the one corner of the um, what's it called?
The tavern.
Of the sorry, yes, the bar, the tavern. Sorry, my brain is like not working tonight.
You are getting distracted.
What's that?
You are getting distracted. Slightly.
I'm
By family.
yes, completely distracted. Um, and Karzan, sorry. What is your passive perception?
Very high. Let's see. It is 20.
20. You're generally keeping an eye, on the individuals here, and you notice uh, Varen and Colt.
Remind me who Varen is again.
Varen Bell is the elected lumberjack head. Like he's the one who gets the individuals together. He's the one that
Oh, right.
divvies out the paycheck.
I was
Yeah.
looking at one section of my notes. I have it in a different section. All right. I got it.
You see them sitting over in the corner, and a you did mention this. You did notice this earlier, but a what's it called? A vacant spot at their table, and Colt puts a third mug at that spot, and they both, they're talking quietly amongst themselves. Um, but you notice Colt has tears running down his face. You've known him for years. He's the the youngest of the Farandrus family, the last remaining of the Farandrus family,
Right.
and he's been around. He's done his work as a lumberjack as well as keeping up with the or keeping the shrine up to date, or not up to date, but up to cleaned up and keeping it up. Uh, so for him to seem distraught in some way, that is just the first thing you notice. The second thing you notice is a new arrival in the tavern at this point. Um, Brain needs to, Xander.
Okay.
Uh, Townmaster Velt walks in. He has a book in his hand, and he walks over to Marlin, talks with him for just a second, grabs a drink, and finds his way over to another table. Xander doesn't really come to the tavern very often, so it's weird that he's here. And he looks worried. The rest of you, someone new walks in. There's a card game going on in one corner. Uh, Other than that, it's oddly starting to die down early.
That's my cue to do my job. And so I get up on the stage with my flute and I try to get some very catchy songs going.
All right. Go make a performance check.
Yeah.
So the performance wasn't so much to remember the songs or to play them well; it was to get crowd interaction, right? Um, you get a few people. The the more inebriated of the group start to chant out very incoherent versions of whatever song you're playing. And it turns into a one person shouting at another person for some reason, but you don't know why, and they don't know why, and yeah, it.
Noticing all these different things in the store, Carson's gonna start kind of every minute casting guidance on himself, sort of kind of like almost as if it's a nervous tick.
Okay. Anything else you guys are looking to do? Uh,
Uh, well, Nyx probably took note of the person who wandered in with a book. Um, but I don't think he's really seen a reason to interact more with anyone so far.
the night or the evening progresses semi quietly. There is a fight that breaks out between the two shouting individuals that is very quickly stopped by some of the other lumberjacks, and those two individuals are taken outside and thrown into the cold to sober up for a sec. Uh, After a bit, uh, Carson, you remember you feel a tap on your shoulder, and turning, you see Xander standing there. Carson, can I talk with you for a second?
Sure. You'll get up. Follow him.
Leads you back over to his table. Um, how are things?
Just as a side note, while they're talking, I'd like to talk to the bartender just me and him.
Sure. Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second. Uh, Carson, how are things going? You doing well
You
over in
know how
your
well
place?
things are going. They go as well as they always do.
It's fair. Yeah. Yeah, we're the caravan that just showed up brought some good supplies uh, to the horse head. Noticed that there weren't any to the vein
Mm.
this time around. Just checking in, making sure you're. Yeah. Okay.
I buy for
Um.
what people buy from me. I
And
have
that's
my stock, and if someone buys something, I'll make an order.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Um. Quick question: Have you when last week when that knight was here? Did you talk to him at all?
I
Did he?
noticed him. I saw him. I exchanged pleasantries. As pleasant as I can be, anyway. And, seemed a bit ditzy. Dunno. What's his deal? What's the
Uh,
deal?
well, he supposedly um, hired uh, Carter, Grummins, and Soren uh, Drastier to go with him to the Citadel.
Of course he did. Like, he's basically waiting for him to say to the mine or to the citadel, almost. And he says,
Yeah,
I see.
uh, and another individual from one of the uh, traveling groups that came in, the Druid. But
Mm,
that was a week ago. Have you heard anything from either of them?
no, not really. If I have to officiate another graveyard burial.
I won't. The reason I'm coming to you is because I know that Soren was a good friend of Colt. And since Colt's the only other one who officiates over these bodiless burials, I feel that would be in bad taste.
Well, you know my fare.
Yeah. Well, it'll be paid by the town. That's fine. I just wanted to. I hope they're okay. Oh, who am I kidding? I know they're not.
What did he even tell him? That there's gold in them thar hills?
No, the knight had some more of a spiritual aspect to his.
The knight hasn't shown up, right? He's still in MIA.
Oh no, yeah, they're all four of them are AWOL. They're MIA.
Didn't you say Soren was in the tavern?
Soren is not in the tavern. Soren was
Okay.
is the missing
Colt's in
place
the
next
tavern.
to
Colt's in the tavern.
yeah next to Colt and Varen.
Mm, okay. He
So
went to the Citadel.
yeah,
Any notes left behind? Wills? Next of kin?
um, the Grummins are aware, and Soren was by himself, but they're young enough they don't have a will, obviously. Uh,
I told him to make one. Yeah, whatever. No one listens to me.
well, I'd appreciate it. Maybe we'll give them another day or two. Uh, Make it a full week before we build the town. Although it looks like Baron and Colt are doing their own thing for Soren. And I hate it when they go in young.
They're going in as well.
What?
Varen and Colt are gonna go in.
Oh no, he points to the other side of the. No, they're drinking to their friend.
Okay.
Looks like I don't know. Anyway, well, I appreciate it, Carson. I really do. Just wish our situation here was a bit better.
Not a mountain of wishing will change the situation. Carson will tap his shoulder and walk off.
The evening continues. Unless there's anything else, you all separate into your rooms in your home.
I did want to
Oh,
speak with the bartender.
Oh yeah, of course.
by the way, how
Um,
much does the room cost?
room is 5 silver.
Okay. I will. Yeah, I'll hand him a gold for change.
Cool. He just as you hand him a gold, he gives you the 5 silver back. Um, and you wanted to chat with the tavern keep.
Yep. Marlon, can I speak with you privately?
I mean, as privately as I can. I've got to keep the bar. But yeah, what's up? You see,
I'll
he's
wait.
keeping his he's keeping his distance, for the most part. But he's willing to chat.
Does he ever stop? I mean, he's done with his job at some point, right?
I mean, when the last people leave the bar, yeah.
I'll wait, and Ergi will sit and wait till everybody's gone.
Okay. It gets quite late, getting into the late night and early hours of the morning. Whoever is wanting to stay up, you can. Otherwise, Marlin comes back over to you once he wishes, bids the last people. Yeah, what's up?
That last person would be me, and I ask him to what my take of the evening was.
He goes over to the bowl that he keeps for tips. Um, he kind of pulls it out. We said 15%, right?
I'll accept that this time. It's a little low, but I also don't think I gave my best performance this evening.
That was a rough crowd tonight. I swear, there was something going on. And he pulls out uh, uh, 16 silver and 5 copper for you.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Hey, glad to have you. Good to have a master storyteller back in town. We're needing that right now. With
Yeah, I could feel it.
yeah.
Anyway, Ergi, are you're all right? You need anything tonight?
Oh, I'm okay.
All right. Well, you two have a good evening, and then I'll wander off to my room.
And it's probably around that time that Nyx also wanders off because, like, he stayed up mostly just to keep an eye on Cal.
That's fair. Carson?
At some point in the night, Carson has a routine. He goes there, he has a few drinks, chats a bit, then he falls asleep. And eventually, Marlin wakes him up. And
Yeah, I'll say after Cal and Nyx head up to their rooms, uh, He comes over, puts his arm around you, or as best he can, kind of more taps you on the thigh. All right, big boy, it's time to go home. You need help
Yeah.
tonight, or you good?
No, I'm all right. Have a good one,
All right.
Marlon. See you tomorrow. And you walk out.
Night. He hops back up on some boxes and heads over to you, Ergay. Ergy. All right. What can I do for you? What's so secretive that you couldn't do a say in the din of everybody?
Firstly, I apologize for frightening you earlier. And second, I need to know everything you've heard since the incident. What happened at the Citadel is something that I might truly be able to help with. I think I need help with my life right now.
Hmm. Unless you can travel back in time, I don't know how much you can help with. As far as then he kind of takes a deep breath and pulls over a small stool, sits next to you, grabs a drink for himself. As far as I've heard, when old Holston created the mines, found some interesting artifacts and things that kind of spawned that need to dig deeper. And then they found more veins of gold and silver, the ores, the metals, everything that you could think of is apparently in that mountain.
What of these Fae? Surely, being a barkeep, you've heard rumors.
The rumors I've heard are well, some firsthand, some secondhand. Um, Again, this was 30 years ago, so I don't know the state of anything up there right now. I do know that there have been individuals over the last couple of decades that are like you and think they can help or think they can go in and find uh, Holston's treasure. Not a single one has come out. So I'll let that be a warning unto itself.
Well, just as much as I don't know them, you don't know me. Been through quite a bit.
That's fair. That's he takes a big old drink. That's fair. About 30 years ago, a group trying to find more veins, trying to excavate deeper, supposedly opened up into a cavern of some kind. Again, this is both first and second hand. The cavern was full of ruins, and nothing really happened at first. And then all of a sudden, creatures started appearing out of the walls, out of these spore like things.
Do I know? Do I have an idea of what he might be talking about?
No idea. And you've heard of entities that can appear and create new matter from, but nothing of this nature. Anyway, this stuff started to kill and corrupt. and those who had fallen rose and were attacking their friends. So everyone started to flee. They lost 90% of the mining crews, all of them. And they collapsed the mine as they were leaving to try and stop anything from getting out to the town.
I see. Well, corruption, evil. This is what I fought all my life. Um, but now I more or less don't have the light. So maybe I'll just have to fight nightmares with nightmares. Marlin, I need a team. Do you? I need your help, Marlin. Can you help me find someone?
Guy, I'm not a fighter, and 90% of the workforce here in town are lumberjacks. So you can get some strong people, but that's about it.
What of that Tarzan, the Dragonborn?
He's one of the like the guy. He's a good guy, but he's one of them supposed holy types.
I've been there.
You want to approach him, go for it. Other than that, you can try talking to people from the new caravan. But please, we just had people from town get convinced, and in my brain moonswoggled, to join another knight of similar fashion about a week ago to enter the citadel. And he, at this point, drains the rest of his mug. They haven't come out. You can do
Well,
what you will, but
quite frankly, I don't have a lot to lose.
the people of the town do. So
I understand.
every life is important. I understand that. But if you're going to throw yours and a group of individuals away, I'd recommend please not grabbing anyone from the town. That's I don't want to see another friend not come back.
Well, they'll trickle in over time. There's nothing to stop that but to solve the problem. The only way that deaths will stop is to remove this evil from the Citadel. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Give me some purpose.
Something you don't see, but that you as a player have the right to know, is that the knight he was referring to said those exact same words at this exact same place to him about a week and a half ago. You see him stare into his cup, take his head, pat you on the shoulder. Okay, good luck. I'm going to close up shop if you want to head up to your room.
Again, I apologize. Good night.
Okay, as you head upstairs, you hear him shout, or you, not really shout, but with a normal voice, you hear him say, "I forgive you." As you head upstairs.
Nothing quite like forgiveness.
The night goes by without any issues. You all get a good night's rest. Um, the morning comes. It is cold. It is frosted over, and you see a fresh coat of snow on the ground. But it's clear.
I will say, over the night, Tarzan gets home, kind of a visionette. He sits down next to his bed, looks over to his sales book that's been collecting dust for the past probably 15 years, or something along those lines. And he keeps thinking to himself what he said to, oh gosh, what was his name? Xander.
Xander.
That a mountain of wishes ain't gonna change this situation. That he keeps just thinking about that. And those are the thoughts that he takes to sleep.
In your dreams, you see a mountain. Familiar. With a citadel on the top. But in your dreams, the mountain itself has opened up. And you can see inside. Piles upon piles of gold coins. More than just the gold, you see and get the feeling of a legacy. I think that is where we can stop tonight.
All right.
Thanks for dealing with me having to help with kids.
Yeah, no problem.
It's fine.
You're good.
Blech. Can't promise my voice will be this on point next time, but you know.
All good. So I'm not going to be able to play next week. Um, we're actually going to be in Hawaii.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um, but 2 weeks from now, I should be good to play
All right.
and
Sounds
pick this
good.
back up. So, yeah. Yes. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah.